Okay, great. Um, Heidi asked if there's anybody here to introduce me, and I said no, so I'll introduce myself. My name is Andrew Prokop, and tonight we're going to talk about scams and frauds. Just a little bit about me. Newly retired. I was in the software industry for 40 plus years. In the last 5 years, I've been the technical advisor for a cybersecurity company, a startup company. We focused mainly on telephone calls, so securing telephone calls, making sure that it's the person who's calling you is the person who's calling you. We mostly did large, medium to large companies. We have a new product. I'm not trying to sell it because you can't even buy it in America, where when you get a phone call in, it will verify and tell you if it thinks it's a fraud call or not. So it's not available here, but it's something that, so I've been in this industry for quite some time working on things like this. So George Anastas over there and I, we volunteer with the AARP. This is not an AARP presentation, but I've got the logos all over the place. We go to community centers, senior centers, all over the state, and we talk to people about fraud. Every time I have a conversation about fraud, I learn something new because I always find somebody that has been defrauded, has been attacked. So show of hands, not have you been scammed. If you've been scammed, but if you've just been targeted by a scammer. And I hope every hand goes up because it happens all the time. This presentation was really interesting to build because I was gathering real life examples of scams and frauds to my email and my text messaging. And it was an endless supply of new ones. Oh, I like this one better. Oh, I haven't seen this one before. Let me add this one. It's a non-stop thing. And the scammers are getting better and better and better. And it's hard to know sometimes whether it's real or it really is your bank. And so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some of the things that are happening, and of course, hopefully, how you can prevent it from happening to you. So a few terms, though, I want to throw out. You may hear these just out in the industry. Vishing, phishing, and smishing. I love this. So phishing are scam emails. Those are the ones that you get in your inbox, and they try and get you to do something. Sign up for something, click this link, download this application. Vishing are the telephone calls you get. Hi, this is the IRS, or hi, this is Medicare, and you owe, and then text messaging, smishing, and the smishing part is text messaging is actually SMS, small messaging system. So smishing, so vishing, phishing, and smishing are different ways that you get attacked. The so-called Nigerian emails, and this is where kind of a lot of this started. This was the person that says, hi, I'm a prince somewhere and I have $30 million and I need to get it out of the country. I need an honest person to take that money and put it into their bank account. You seem like an honest person. Can you give me your bank account information and I will transfer that $30 million in? This is kind of where a lot of it started. Social engineering, looking at spammers and scammers, looking at people's social media accounts to learn about you, to learn information about you. Where do you live? What are the names of your grandchildren? Do you post videos of them? Do you post pictures? Maybe I can use that against you so that when you get that call that says, Grandma, it's Billy. I'm in Chicago and I've lost my wallet. And don't tell mom and dad, but I need to get back home. Can you wire me $1,000? Real life example. My brother-in-law's mother-in-law fell for that and she lost $3,000. Wiring $3,000 to Billy. And how did they know about Billy? Watching her social media accounts. So social engineering is looking at people's information that we willingly give up and then using that against you. Catfishing, creating fake online profiles to deceive. And I'm going to talk about this a whole lot more when I talk about romance scams, which are another big scam, multi-million-dollar scam. And then clickbait. Those are stories and links on the web that are designed to get your attention. And once you're there, They might gather information about you. Maybe it's a quiz. Hey, take this quiz. See what animal you are. And you do all this stuff. Well, let me see. I need to know where you were born. What was your mother's maiden name? What high school did you go to? When did you graduate? So clickbait to get information from you willingly, and people do that all the time. They go to a Facebook quiz and they put all these things. Oh, I'm a zebra. And what you've done is you've just given all this personal information about yourself. And so that when somebody wants to break into your account, one of the questions is, what high school did you go to? Well, you kind of told the whole world that, didn't you? So it is an epidemic. And this is the latest I could get was from 2023. 2.6 million fraud reports. And we all know that that number is way underreported because most people don't report that they've been defrauded. So I want to say that number is substantially larger. The same thing with the $10 billion reportedly lost. It's probably much, much, much bigger than that because a lot of people don't report frauds. And at the end of the presentation, I'm going to tell you some ways that you can report frauds and then help us all to stop this. So what has changed? Well, we're on our computers a lot now. The pandemic sent us home. So we're always online. We shop online. Things, the rise of banking online. All those things lend themselves to being scammed. They build an easier life for us. Our lives are a lot simpler than they were before, so that you can just go online, click, I want this thing delivered. But it also lends itself to scam, and I'm going to show you fake emails as we go along that you might think are real, but they're not. But again, because of the fact that we're moving so much of our lives online. So pop quiz, are younger or older people more susceptible to scams? And the second one is which age group loses the most? So show of hands, who thinks younger people are more susceptible to scams? 2 people. And which age group loses the less? Put your hand up if you think younger people. Okay. The answer is quite interesting. Younger people are actually more scammed than older people. Quite a bit more. But older people lose a lot more. So younger people who are online more lose or are attacked more, but they don't lose as much because they don't have as much. You know, George and I, we participate in the AARP Fraud Watch calls, and we hear horror stories about people that lose tens of thousands of dollars, retirement money, retired women who fall for some prank, and the next thing you know, they've lost $150,000. The worst that we heard was, I think it was a man that lost $700,000 in a cryptocurrency scam. Oh, then you heard even a worse one. And okay. Yeah, so 2.5 million is what George said. The one I heard was the man went on to a class to learn how to invest in cryptocurrency, which was a scam in itself. And so it gave him a wallet to start putting money into, and his cryptocurrency was building, and he was making a fortune. And he did this for like 8 months, and he finally said, you know, I should take some of that money out. And as soon as he tried to take it out, it was all gone. So it was actually a class. He was scammed through a class. All right. So why are scams successful? Well, because we're human beings and we get excited or we get scared or we get frightened and we get into that state of mind where we can be manipulated. You know, wait a minute, I owe this much money to the IRS? Or wait a minute, it says here in this text message that Charles Schwab has just taken $3,000 and put it into my account. Well, I don't have a Charles Schwab account. What is this? Let me click on this link. Or, oh, wait a minute, my PayPal account is frozen because somebody did scams to it. Let me click on this link to log into my PayPal account. So we get excited, we get scared. Or when I talk about romance, oh, my God, this person really loves me. I've never met anybody like this before that pays so much attention to me. And that person is not real. So again, heightened emotions. We get excited, we get scared, we get into a state of mind where we don't think right. So let's look at some of the top scams. These are categorically the top 6 scams that are going on right now. So, and I will talk about all of them. Imposter scams, online shopping scams. My middle son actually just got one of those where he ordered something off of eBay and it turned out to be the thing he got was not the thing that it was, supposed to be, but it was such a great deal. Lotteries, prizes, sweepstakes, those are really common. And I have examples for just about all of these, real life examples pulled from my inbox. Romance scams, employment and business opportunity scams. This is a big one that's growing. And then good old-fashioned identity theft. I'm going to talk about all of these. I'm going to give you some things to help you avoid them. And unfortunately, when they do happen to you, or if they happen to you, some things that you can do to helpfully get yourself out of the mess. And here in Minnesota, AARP has been watching, and these are the top 3 right now. Imposter, online shopping, and the prizes lotteries. That doesn't mean that these aren't important. Just right now, these are just happening a little bit more. Okay. Imposter scams. The government, it's the Social Security Administration telling you there's a problem with your account, or the IRS that says that you owe money. I used to get these a lot, the phone calls. You just answer the phone. Hello, this is the IRS, the fraud department or whatever, and you will, blah, blah, blah. And press 1 to be transferred to, I don't answer my phone much anymore when I don't know the number and they've gone down or I'm just not seeing them. Medicare frauds, this especially happens around time of Medicare enrollment. Federal Trade Commission. Oh, and one of my favorites, and I'm sure you've all gotten, and I've got some examples, how the U.S. Postal Service is telling you there's a package that can't be delivered, and can you help us deliver it? And then over here, businesses, and I've got examples for a bunch of these. Amazon, oh, that $600 order that you just placed will be shipped tomorrow. Well, I didn't order anything. Let me click on this link. Excitement, fear. Utility companies, we just got an email just today from ARP that there's a lot of utility fraud going on right now, thinking it's the power company, you owe money, your power's going to be shut off. FedEx, UPS, Norton antivirus. I like this one. The people that are supposed to prevent viruses, they come at you as the scam is using Norton to come at you. You have, we've discovered that you have a virus on your computer, and we can help you fix it. Or Microsoft. My very, very, very smart brother fell for one of these things. Thankfully, somebody stepped in, and I'm going to talk about stepping in later, and stopped it. It was somebody says, oh, you have a virus on your computer. Let us help you get that virus off. And he's on the phone with the customer support. We just download this software onto your PC and, Okay, so anyway, imposter fraud. So some of the techniques, well, of course, they pretend to be someone they're not. Back again to what I said, they use fear, excitement, intimidation. You're going to be in trouble. We're going to put you in jail if you don't do this. They apply pressure to act quickly. You need to do this right away. Right away is important because if you think about it, you probably won't do it. Or if you talk to somebody, you probably won't do it. And they request untraceable or unrecoverable forms of payment, gift cards, cryptocurrency. I'm going to talk a bunch about cryptocurrency. And you might think, well, I don't know about cryptocurrency. Well, the scammers teach you. They teach you really fast. Wire transfers. All right, so let's look at a fraudulent email, just an example. I don't know how well you can see this, but I'll explain it. There's always this sense of urgency, action required. The address is not really quite your bank. It might look really close to it. Oh, but your bank uses Gmail? Maybe you didn't notice that before. Or they double a letter that shouldn't be doubled, so it looks like it's from FedEx or something like that, but there's an extra X or an extra something or other. Generic greetings, dear valued customer. Spelling and grammar mistakes. Now, this is interesting. Sometimes they come in here because the people, English is their second language and they're doing it. Sometimes they actually put them in on purpose because the feeling is if the people that they can't scam will recognize that and they'll say, well, this is a scam. But the people that they can scam will look past it. So instead of them having to deal with people that they can't scam, they're dealing with mostly people they can scam. So sometimes they're put in on purpose, which seems counterintuitive, but that's what happens. Suspicious links kind of looks like your bank, but it isn't if you hover over it, which is dangerous because it's easy to sometimes click. So I don't recommend that. But if you hover over it, you would find it's actually not the link that it says it is. It's going somewhere else. And the downloadable things. Click on this. That's always scary, especially EXEs and zip files and things like that. Can do real serious damage to your computer, load up viruses or malware. So these are real life examples. Again, I've just been pulling them out of my computer. Your Netflix account has expired. Renew your subscription now. Okay, I'll go in and click on this thing, and I'll go to a website that looks a lot like Netflix, and I'll enter my credit card number and all that sort of stuff. Or message from Amazon customer service. You know, which one is this one? Oh, something was declined. Well, let's update that right now. Again, real life examples that my spam filter missed. Some of these I had to go into my junk email box, but some of them they didn't. They were there. Or this one. Verify your Apple ID information. Go to Apple ID. We regret to, I think this one also had a grammar. We regret to inform you that your account has been disabled as a result of violating our policy and terms of service. Anyway, so go and enter your Apple ID and your password. It will look like you've gone to Apple, but you haven't. Or you sometimes see these, again, in my inbox. I don't know who this person is, but oh, she wants me to help edit this document. Well, what is this? Maybe I should know what this is. Let me click on it. Okay. They bring you in, you know? We all see this. U.S. Post Office, you have a parcel that's blah, 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 blah. You know, it looks fake, looks phony to us. Can you tell me something about it where you just look at it instantly and you say, well, that's not the U.S. Post Office. Do you know why? Do you know what that might be? You're a smart woman. That's the Philippines. That came from the Philippines. I've noticed a rash of these lately coming from the Philippines. So plus 63 is a country code. Plus 1 is United States. Plus 63 is Philippines. I've also seen a lot of plus 44, so that's the United Kingdom. So right off the bat, well, wait a second, since when was the U.S. Post Office running an operation out of the Philippines? So anyway, you click on that, and they'll want bank account information. My brother-in-law fell for one of those. Yes. Oh, a comment requires a microphone. I had a lot of fun, honestly, I have to tell you, getting these, because I knew I'd be putting them into the presentation.
Here every night.
So one of the things that I've done in the past has been on a help with Verizon or I think Xfinity, and they sub out their help chat entities or service to other countries. Okay, so that can be a little bit difficult too.
We'll talk about that in a second. Again, this isn't the help desk. You didn't ask for this. This is just coming out of the blue. But we're going to I'll talk a little bit about what you're talking about there. So this one just started showing up. And it says that my recent trip on a Minnesota Easy Pass toll road has a charge of $11.50. Click on this thing. Well, first off, when does Easy Pass come from a Gmail address? But this is a new one. I haven't seen this. And when we were talking on our fraud call the other day, somebody said, oh, I'm seeing them. I can't remember. It was Florida and other places. So they're targeting you in Minnesota or you in Florida, and they know where you are. Well, obviously your phone number will tell where you are, but you're starting to get very specific ones. So I hadn't seen that one before. This one, and I got this one. I gave my slides to Heidi yesterday, and this morning I was checking a financial thing that I had, and it said, you know, we're going to text you a validation code. Well, I love the fact, so this is legitimate. This actually came from the provider, and I had to enter this code. But I love the fact that they're now starting to tell you, if anybody asks you for this code, it is a scam. because that's a common thing. Somebody will call you, hi, this is your whatever your bank is, and there's fraud on your thing. So we need to verify a few things. So I'm going to text you a code to make sure that it's you that I'm talking to. Please tell me that code. Well, what they're doing is they're breaking into your account and they need the authorization code, and you're telling them that. So I love the fact that this is Fidelity told me, don't ever give this code to anybody. So it's a legitimate text message. It's a legitimate two-factor authentication, but they're helping me know that it's a scam. I love that. So that's one of the things that's starting to happen. Some of these entities and are realizing that this problem is so awful. Let's help our consumers. Okay, and if okay. Sure, it's okay with me. So, and I'm so glad that Reverend Oscar is here. So this is close to home. Now, apologies, Reverend. I wrote a program. I write software. I wrote an AI generation program. So I did a kind of a description of you, and it created an evil Oscar. So, excuse me. So what this is all about is not only do you get them from companies like Amazon or FedEx or whatever, you're getting scams from people and pretending to be people you know, people that you want to help. And Reverend Oscar was so great to give me an actual email. Oh, by the way, I didn't want you to get all the credit, so I created a Reverend Oscar, an evil Reverend Laura, and evil Reverend KP. So they're all covered well. So what it is you get an email or a text message that says, I'm really busy. You need to do something for me. Can you help? You respond back. I love this too. Here's some, again, it's got to be fast and it's confidential. Don't tell anyone. So kindly respond via email. Don't try and call me, because if you call, he's going to go, what? And he's going to ask you, we have a parishioner that's in the hospital, and I really want to give, so-and-so a gift card or get some flowers. Can you go and get a gift card and then give me the numbers? And then I will then reimburse you later. These are real life things, and it's coming to us. They're coming as text messages and they're coming as emails. And so, again, look at some of the things. First off, there's another Gmail address, So it kind of looks like it might be him, but boy, shouldn't it be coming from Unity? But it's not. So again, don't call anyone, don't do it, don't talk to anyone. Let's do this. You see things like that, you want to be a good parishioner, you want to do right. Don't. If you really think that maybe he needs to do it, call somebody. Call somebody at the church. Say, I just got this. What should I do with this? And the answer is most likely don't do anything, because I don't think you're going to ever ask anybody to get a gift card. And you can't see that online, but he's saying no. I will never ask anybody to get a gift card and read me the numbers. But again, close to home, these are things happening now. And it may not be Reverend Oscar, it might be somebody you work with. I will admit that I fell for one. I was out walking my dog, and I work for this company, a startup company in India, and I get an email from my friend Srini. And it says, hey, Andrew, I'm traveling. I don't have your phone number. Can you send me your phone number? I'm not thinking, oh, yeah, send him my phone number. And I go, what? So I take the email and I forward it to Srini, and he writes back, I didn't send this. A couple minutes later, I get a text message, supposedly from him, hey, Andrew, and I immediately blocked it. So no damage done, but even I fell for it. And I felt so stupid. I'm like, well, but I shouldn't feel stupid. It looked good enough. It looked real, and it looked like the kind of thing he would do, because he travels a lot. So no damage done. I gave it away. I blocked. Nothing has happened since. But I'm just saying, those sorts of things. It doesn't have to be Reverend Oscar. It could be somebody that you know really well. It could be a relative of yours. Hey, we're getting a present for Mom. Again, they're out there. Let's go on. So old-fashioned telephone calls. Again, hello, this is the IRS. I need to whatever. Let me warn you too. The dark web has all sorts of information about you. They know your social security number. They probably know your credit card numbers. So it may sound very legitimate. This is US Bank. Are you so-and-so? And just, are the last 4 digits of your social security this number? Well, yeah. Okay, your credit card number is this, blah, 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 blah. Well, yes. Well, we've detected fraud on this. Okay, but to verify a few things, I need the code on the back of the card to make sure that it's you. or I'm going to send you a text message. Tell me when you get the code and what the code is. Again, we're back to that again. Okay, do it over the telephone. There's a lot of this still going on, a lot of this. So it's not just your digital, you don't have to worry about just your digital things like your emails and your text messaging. There's still a lot of phone calling. There are places in other countries where they have entire, practically parts of a city dedicated to scamming people. They have it's an industry. It is an industry. Okay. So imposter scams, what to know? Well, the government does not contact you out of the blue about a problem. If they do, they send you a letter and they tell you to get back to them. They do not call you. Amazon doesn't text you messages saying, your package is not going to be shipped or something like that. Please correct this information. If they do, if you get to, well, go and contact a trusted entity, a trusted phone number. Go to the real Amazon webpage and find their email or find their phone number. If it's the bank, say, hey, great, thanks. I'm going to hang up and call you back. And I'm going to take out my bank card and I'm going to read the number off the back. Okay? So if you're concerned, be concerned, but do it in a way that you're in control. And please make no payments or share sensitive information. And when I go a little bit further, I'm going to tell you even less stuff that you should do. But right now, the big three are, you're not going to get this from the government. Medicare is not going to send you a text message. It's not going to send you an email. If you're concerned, contact a trusted resource and don't share sensitive information. Love American Style. How many of you remember Love American Style? I love that show. I'm sure if I watched it again, I would say, oh my God, that is so awful. But back when I was 12 years old, I loved that show. Romance scams are on the rise. And a lot of people are getting really hurt by this. Elderly people are losing lots of money to the love of their life who is in the military somewhere or working on a common one is an offshore oil rig. And they befriend you, they tell you all these wonderful things, and they work it for a long time. They can work it for months. And then finally, all of a sudden, they say, oh, my truck broke down, I can't get it fixed. Oh, well, I can help you. And you go and you look and you see, you never meet them, but you've got profiles, online profiles, and they're really good-looking people, These are really common, to the point of, the best numbers I could find was a 600% rise from 2017 to 2021. And then I found in 2022 is 1.3 billion reported losses. And again, most losses are not reported. 28% of the targets used gift cards to pay scammers. Those gift cards are going to keep coming back more and more again. And people 70 plus reported the highest individual median loss at $9,000. I have a personal friend who fell for one of those. And lost a lot of money. Romance scams in the news. I just picked this one up a couple of days ago. There was a deep fake ring in Hong Kong. So again, this is an industry. It's an entire industry. They build phony profiles. They have all sorts of people. One person has got 100 romances at the same time they're juggling, and they're just stringing you along until all of a sudden they collect money from you. These are kind of the long games. It doesn't happen right away, but it happens. So warning signs. They say they're far away. Their profile seems too good to be true. The relationship is moving fast. You just met and already they're saying, I think I love you. We can laugh at this, but this is happening over and over again. And one of the things that I stress later on, even if you think this will never happen to you, it may happen to people you know. And so you pay attention. So when your elderly brother or sister who's been, widowed or for some time starts to find this new love online. So they break promises to see you. I'm going to see you, but then something comes up. And then, of course, they start to ask for money, and they require specific payment methods. Can you pay me in crypto? Again, I still haven't taught you how to do crypto. We're going to get there. Moving on, identity theft and identity fraud. I found this statistic just the other day. There's an identity theft case every 22 seconds. And so what that is people pretend to be you, and they open up credit cards. They buy real estate. Anything where they can be you and not be you, but reap the gains. So some of the protections, I will talk about this in a little bit too. I've got a good slide. Freeze your credit report. If you haven't done that, you need to do that. And I will show you how. And I talk a lot about this. Unique, strong passwords. Unique meaning don't use the same passwords over and over and over again, because if one system gets hacked, well, all of a sudden they're into a bunch of other systems. And strong passwords, we'll talk about that. This one's interesting. If you have some sort of service that you use, set up your online access account. And you might think, well, doesn't that make me more vulnerable because now I've got another account? Well, if you don't do it, guess what? A scammer's going to. They're going to get enough information about you, and they're going to set up their own bank account thing for you. And they're going to start to manipulate your money without you knowing about it, or your retirement funds, or whatever. So set up those accounts, monitor them, keep your systems updated. Don't let your systems fall behind so that you're missing security patches and things. Protect your personal data. This could be anything from not telling somebody something about you to shredding information that you put into your recycle bin. If there's a problem, well, first off, this is a good thing to do. You get your annualcreditreport.com, you get your credit report for free, and it will tell you all sorts of information about your credit to make sure that somebody's not manipulating it. If you have a problem, identitytheft.gov, and I actually did a snapshot of the page. If you go there, if you have a problem, they can help you solve it. There's a recovery plans. If you think somebody else has a problem, if you click get started, there are a lot of questions it takes you down. It's a really good one. By the way, I'm going to make all this information available to everybody at the end. Okay, sweepstakes and lottery scams. These are so common. Hey, you just won $3 million in the London whatever sweepstakes that you never bothered to enter. But it doesn't matter, they entered for you. You get things like this. Dear email user, we've randomly selected your email ID. Blah, 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 blah. I get these all the time. And now, thankfully, my spam filter puts most of them in the junk email box, but I went and looked for them. These actually made their way through. Walmart, Kohl's, congratulations. It's like they're almost identical. So it's the same scammer following the same pattern. And of course, as soon as I confirm my gift, there might be a small shipping and handling charge, but we need your credit card for that. You know? So randomly selected to win these things. So what can indicate a sweepstakes scam? Well, you're supposed to pay a fee or taxes or custom duties before you can collect the prize. Well, first off, they're all scams. So really, they're just all scams. Winning a sweepstakes you've never heard of, being asked to buy a gift card. There's gift cards again, and share the numbers before giving a prize. The whole thing being randomly selected. It's not like, you go to fill out a form and put your name in the hat and they draw it. We just found you because we have every email address in the world. Or we're Microsoft. I used to get those, this is the Microsoft sweepstakes. And we found every Microsoft user in the world and you won. In the famous Nigerian email, it's somebody's died and they have a lot of money and they're sick and in the hospital and undergoing treatment. So I need a kind soul. And they always end with something like remain blessed and things like that. I need a kind soul that I can immediately transfer the funds to your personal account. Again, this is kind of where it started, it seems like, is this one here. And they still are out there. I don't think they're as common, but they're still out there. So again, they're asking you to be a kind soul and move money somewhere. So and then online shopping, we've moved here. So fake websites offering merchandise that either doesn't exist or of inferior quality, or real websites. When my son got his, he was on eBay, and he was buying actually a memory card for his, he's got a server set up in his house, and when he got it, it was just It was a knockoff. It wasn't what it was supposed to be. Wasn't the quality of what it was supposed to be. But it was cheap. So the deal sounds too good to be true. Or deep discounts on brand names. Then they're often forgeries. They're not real. And beware, often these sites look very, very real. And I'll talk about some of the reality things in just a little bit, some of the things you can do to protect. This is really common, and it's really horrible. People lose their jobs, and scammers say, I have a job for you. They really wanted to steal your identity. Sometimes they ask for upfront money for some processing fees. Act now or the opportunity will be lost. There's that fear, excitement that they build into this one. And they said, okay, great. But in order to apply for this job, you need to install this particular application software, which is either a virus or malware. And these are very common. I've been talking to a lot of people who've been they've recently lost their jobs. They're on LinkedIn. They put those open to work. Have you ever seen those? And the scammers just are like flies to them. They're just like flies. So here you are in a horrible situation. You've just lost your job. You're feeling bad. Oh, and somebody's got an offer for me? So be, again, really careful. Maybe some of us older people aren't going to do that, but we will know people that will. But wait, there's more. And I'm not going to do all these, but there are so many. I was just talking with a friend, the online quizzes, tampered QR codes. People are replacing real QR codes with phony QR codes on park signs. Oh, scan here for this information, and they take you to places that you shouldn't be going. I mentioned dumpster diving, where people looking for your personal information. Deed forgeries. There was a big article on public radio just the other day about somebody that went to buy a house. They bought a house, and turns out they bought it from somebody who didn't own it. They bought the house from somebody who didn't own it. Yeah. And it was like, I just did $1 million sale that completely went through, and 6 months later, I find out that person never owned the house. Refinancing scams, it goes on and on and on. Tampered gift cards, they go into the stores and they take the little labels on the little the UPC codes and replace them with scam labels. They put little tapes right over the top. So please, get a cave, get rid of your internet access, and don't leave. The rise of AI. I just pulled this one off. I built my evil Reverend Oscar. Well, the Prime Minister of Thailand received scam calls using the voice of another world leader. It sounded just like that world leader, who again eventually was tried to pressure into transferring money to a foreign bank account. So AI is going to put this stuff on steroids, which is really frightening. It's bad enough as it is. Okay, so how do scammers get paid? This is a few years old, so it's not quite accurate. But credit cards were still pretty high. The beauty of a credit card, if you're going to get scammed, please get scammed on a credit card, because you can dispute the charges. A lot of these others, gift cards, the money can just disappear. Wire transfers disappear. Cryptocurrency, it's gone. Kiss that money goodbye. And this is not a political organization, but we now have people in high places selling you cryptocurrency coins. Anyway, we're not going to go there. So gift cards. Why gift cards? They're virtually untraceable. I had a friend who wanted to buy a trailer, and he contacted the person who was selling the trailer, which was up north, like Bemidji, and they said, well, you know what? I got another guy who's going to buy it. But you know what? He's not here right now. If you can buy it now, right now, go to the place and get $1,000 in gift cards and give me the numbers, it's yours. There was no trailer. They're untraceable. They just disappear. That's why Reverend Oscar keeps asking for these gift card numbers. They're readily converted to cash or cryptocurrency, and make them so you can make something that's already disappeared disappear even more, really fast. And it's an ability to move large amounts of money in small parcels. The small parcel can be just a number off the back of the card. So if anyone ever asks you to pay with a gift card, It is a scam. Just know that. It is a scam. So what should you do? Well, actually not a whole lot. And George and I had to talk about this beforehand. These are like Hail Marys. Contact the issuing card right away. The issuing company right away. And that's not necessarily Target, like it's a Target card. You look at the back of the card, and there's an issuer. A lot of times, the issuer manages lots of different gift cards. So you contact the issuer. You can also tell the store and report it right away. And again, I'm going to give you all these links and all that stuff. So report it right away. Can you get it back? It's Hail Mary. Maybe yes, maybe no. But it's about as good as you can do. Actually, the best you can do is don't do it. But if you've done it, this is about as good as you can do. Cryptocurrency. I've mentioned cryptocurrency many times. I've pulled this from the Federal Trade Commission. Scammers like to use cryptocurrency because they don't have the same legal protections as credit or debit cards, and payments usually can't be reversed. So if anybody asks you to pay with cryptocurrency, this is right off of the FTC webpage. You guessed it, it's a scam. So don't ever do that. You think, well, geez, I don't know anything about cryptocurrency. I don't have cryptocurrency. How do I get cryptocurrency? It's really actually quite easy. There are cryptocurrency ATMs all over the place. Gas stations, convenience stores, I think they're even Targets now. What's that? Cub has one? Yeah. Now that I've told you, you're going to notice them. And what happens is you need to pay in cryptocurrency. And what happens is they direct you to find the nearest cryptocurrency ATM, and I'll show you that in just a moment. And then you enter the criminal's account number, or they give you a QR code that you just hold up there, and boom, it finds their account. Then you feed money in, kind of like a slot machine, an old-fashioned slot machine. The money is converted into cryptocurrency, and the cryptocurrency is automatically added to the criminal's account, and your money is gone. And George and I talked about this. There have been times when people are in convenience stores and they notice an elderly person crying at the machine, feeding money in. Well, what's going on? Well, my daughter's in trouble. She's in trouble, and in order to help her, I need to get this money. I need to put this money in. And a good Samaritan will say, you're being scammed. You would like to think that the stores do it? Not always. Not always. They put those machines in there because they get paid to put the machines in there. And if they're stopping people, but if you see somebody crying at a cryptocurrency machine, please step up and say, what are you doing? Can I help you? And I also want to say this too. Bank tellers are getting better too. When people withdraw large amounts of money, especially if they see they're distraught, they will say, can you tell me what you're doing? Can I help you? Explain the situation. We just had one on our call the other day. This woman says, my daughter was in an accident and I needed to get this money to her right away. And she was just, well, ma'am, can we call your daughter? She never did that. She was in such a, well, I talked to her on the phone. She was at the accident. I heard her crying. No, let's call her, So how do you find a cryptocurrency machine? If you take out your cell phone and just search for crypto ATM near me, this is what I did. Whoosh! Look at all these things. This is right by my neighborhood. They're all over the place. So you think you don't know anything about cryptocurrency? That criminals do, and they teach you, they educate you really fast. Okay, finally, some prevention strategies. I've said this over and over again. Avoid making a financial decision in a heightened emotional state. Think before you click. Ask a friend. Find somebody that you know and trust and say, what do you think of this? Does this seem legitimate? Help me out. If there's some places you can do some research, like it's a charity that wants to do something or some sort of a financial thing, you can actually go and check for these organizations to see if they're legitimate. Screen your phone calls. If you don't know the number in today's world, don't answer it. Watch for fake emails and text messages. Immediately hang up if you do answer, and avoid answering questions, especially with the word yes, because they're actually capturing your voice. And they can use your voice later on for other transactions. Do you approve this transaction? And they play your voice saying yes. So please, hang up. And this one, I can't think ahead of time. develop a refusal script. Practice with yourself, with your spouse, with whatever, your friend. Say, because especially as we get older, we get more polite sometimes. Learn how to say no. Practice hanging up. I can tell you, I know some people that just are so happy to talk to somebody, they'll just talk to them. Practice saying no. Practice your refusal script so that you know how to say in a pinch, no, I'm hanging up. Just hang up. So anyway, good techniques there. Other things, protect your personal information. Again, don't pass it out. Don't do quizzes that say, hey, what high school did you go to? Oh, you're an aardvark. Shred. Monitor your bills and financial accounts. Again, create your online accounts. Don't let somebody create one for you. And I mean a criminal. Fraud alerts. You can sign up for fraud alerts and for your credit reports. Watch your credit reports. You should do that at least once a year. You get that for free. Use a mailbox for letters containing personal data. Don't put it outside your house. It can too easily stolen if the envelope is just sticking out of the mailbox. Go to a real letterbox and drop it into the letterbox. What else can you do? Update. Keep your operating systems current. Install antivirus software. Keep it updated. Keep your passwords private. This is hopefully all common sense. Don't share. Use unique passwords for your online accounts. Don't keep using the same one over and over again. Because again, one gets compromised, they all get compromised. Consider a password manager. A password manager allows you to, well, you don't have to write your passwords down and put them in sticky notes and all that. It also allows you to create these humongous passwords that you don't have to create. It creates them for you, and it manages them for you. So you actually never even know your password. The password manager knows the password. Use strong passwords, mixed case, numbers, special characters, a minimum of 12 characters. And I know that's different from what we're used to. 8 was what we used to do in the past. I'm going to show you some math in just a little bit. Two-factor authentication, meaning that in order to log in here, it's going to send me something over here, like a text message, or sometimes it's in an email with the code. If you use an authentication app, that's even better. And I've got a couple authentication apps on my phone. So like on Amazon, I cannot log in without it coming back to me and saying, go to your authentication app and tell me the code that's on the authentication app right now. That code expires every minute. And so it's got a connection. The systems have a connection. So it knows, okay, this person is running this authentication app. This is the code that's available right now. So that's even more secure than text messages and emails. Strong passwords. Don't ever do this. A hacker can break that in seconds. Complex sequence of upper, lowercase, numbers, and special characters. And 12 characters. A hacker can break an 8-character password with all those things in 3 hours or less. It takes nearly 25,000 years to break a 12-character password. And that's 3 hours or less, and it's typically less. That's the most it would take if they guessed it on the last try. So they're probably going to guess it in less than that. So halfway through, they'll have figured out your password. So 25,000 years versus a few hours. And you know, they got time on their hands because they've got these just computers that are just running away, trying to break in. Oh, got it. Well, they're not going to do it with, they're not going to wait for 25,000 years. Even half of that, 12,000 years. Okay, I promised this before, lock your credit files. And again, I'm going to make this presentation available to anybody who wants it. And I think a lot of this information is on one of those handouts here. This is an interesting article. I like this one from USA.gov. It's a credit freeze. It talks about credit freezing. These are all of the 3 major credit agencies, and these are their phone numbers. Now, in theory, I understand that you can call one of them, and you can freeze all 3 of them. I like creating accounts myself because it gives me the ability to go and unlock when I do need it easier. So I get a little more control over it, but you can do it by the phone number as well. And by creating your own account, nobody can create one for you. So there's some benefit there. Public Wi-Fi networks. I put this slide together and people, I gave it somewhere else. They said, this is too much data. You know, should I use a public coffee shop or whatever? So I kind of narrowed down to just a few things. First off, if you need to use a public Wi-Fi network, avoid sending sensitive information. Don't log into your bank account. Please don't log into your bank account. Yeah, maybe go to your Facebook or something like that, but don't go to some place that has real personal information. Make sure that it's a secure website. HTTPS will be at the beginning of it. Make sure it tells you at the top of your browser it's a locked site and that the certificates are legitimate. A lot of browsers right now will come back and tell you this is not a valid certificate. So that's good. I think on an Android, it won't even let you go to the site. You have no choice. I think an iPhone says, do you want to take a risk? But anyway, make sure it's only secure ones. Down here, log out. Don't leave your accounts logged in. And the absolute best one, if you can, is use your phone's hotspot rather than using the coffee shop hotspot. There are a few other things I had in there, like look for the name to make sure you're actually using the correct hotspot, because some of them advertise with a name very similar to it. You know, one says Starbucks, the other says Starmucks, you know, and you go to the wrong one. And then what happens is you could be sending on information that is not, you know, is perhaps not encrypted or can be picked up. I mean, there are more complicated things you can do. You can use VPNs and all that. Most people won't do that. It gets more complicated. Again, this is the best solution. If you possibly can, use your own phone's hotspot, because that is secure. Nobody's broken into AT&T or Verizon yet. Not at that level. So what if you've been scammed? Well, AARP actually has a support group that you can go and you can talk to other people in similar situations. And they offer a 1-hour free virtual session open to anybody across the country. And it's a safe space to talk. There's no shaming, there's no embarrassment. What did you do? It's really to help you. So that's a good spot. If you want to learn more as time goes on, the Fraud Watch Network, and I had dinner with somebody tonight who actually said that they were on there. I can't remember who said that. And so it gives you up-to-date information, and you can sign up for emails. And I just got one just a little while ago. We were talking about it earlier. The utility scams is a common one right now. So you get up-to-date information. So you sign up for that. Again, if you suspect a scam, there's a phone number you can call. It's only available 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday. So please don't get scammed on the weekends. But you can get help there. If you've been scammed, remember I told you most of this stuff is underreported. Share your story. I also warned you about QR codes earlier. This is a safe one. And again, you're going to get all this, and it allows you to say, I was scammed. And I check it on a very regular basis. They obfuscate names and things like that, so I can see, you know, what's happening right now, who's getting scammed, what kind of scams are out there. That's how they knew the current Minnesota scams as they watched that. And of course, they only know what they get told. This is really important. Remember, scammers are very good at what they do. These are professionals. They are trained professionals. They go to scamming school. Many very smart people get taken in. My brother was one of the smartest people I know, and he fell for one of them. Don't be ashamed or embarrassed. Falling prey to a scam is not the victim's fault. It is the fault of the criminal who perpetrates the crime. So, again, they're really good at what they do, and they catch you at vulnerable moments. You can go to this webpage, or you can scan this QR code later, and the AARP will send you a little fraud watch thing, gives you some hints and some ideas. A lot of what we talked about here, or what I talked about here, is there. This is new. They're trying to do a fraud victim restitution fund, working with the state legislature right now to help vulnerable people that have been scammed, to help them perhaps recover some money if they've been badly hurt. Call to action. Share what you've learned with your friends and family to help protect them too. Again, you might think, I'll never get scammed, and I hope you never are, but you will know people that will get scammed, and you will know people that are in the middle of something, and they don't know how to get out of it. And again, some of the advice of just telling them, call me, call a friend, bring somebody over. My wife and I were having dinner the other night. She gets a text message, and again, it was like, oh, this financial transaction just occurred. Just her saying it to me, I go, it's a scam. Okay, just that alone. You're sitting there managing that yourself, and you're like, oh my God, what do I do about this? Or that I didn't order that Amazon order. I need to stop them right away. Just talk to somebody. So anyway, pass this information on. And because if you can spot it, you can stop it. And then finally, if you have additional questions afterwards, and if you want a copy of all these slides, just email me, ajprokop@gmail.com. I promise not to scam you, and I will not sell that to many people. And we have plenty of time for questions. I know that there were some earlier.
Yes, I'm just going to share this one quick thing that someone online talked about, which you just had a slide that was talking about this. Judy Miller says she had an NPR story hit her personally, victim blaming for folks who have been scammed. In quotes, how could you be so stupid, foolish, or gullible? No wonder people don't report, they are ashamed.
Yes.
Judy says her friend sick with stage 4 cancer lost $9,000 on a PayPal scam. And thanks to that story, I tried really hard to be supportive and suppress my disbelief that she, a brilliant woman, was scammed. She was the victim. I was outraged and she needed my support.
Perfect. Don't feel shame. Very, very smart, capable people are going to get caught up in this. They are. It's like, at some point in your life, you're going to have a flat tire. It's just going to happen. Even though you did everything right, or you're going to run out of gas. Looks like, Roger, you had a flat tire, right? No, so you're going to run out of gas somewhere. I'm never going to run it. It's going to happen. So now the trick is how far do you get in? But somebody at some point is going to get you thinking, maybe I need to do this. And sadly, some people go further than they should. And again, especially when you get that phone call and they know your name, your credit card number, your address, your social security number, all this stuff's available on the dark web, people. Everybody's social security number is known to criminal enterprises. They're going to know this, and it's going to sound so legitimate. And you're going to think, well, that's right. I actually just did a deposit. Maybe it has to do with that deposit I just did. Or I'm waiting for a package. Yeah, and it hasn't shown up. Maybe this is. So anyway, so anybody in the room with questions? I thought there was one early and we paused it. Oh.
Just a brief one, if you're traveling overseas and you're using ATM machines, is it better to use a credit card or your bank debit card?
Oh, I don't like debit cards to begin with because that's just cash that can disappear. Credit cards are safer. I don't know if I can really honestly answer that. I would like to say a credit card is always safer because you can dispute the charges. And I didn't mention this. What is the word they call these? In some places, they're putting devices over on top of the skimmers, they're called, to gather your credit card information. So you think you're giving it to the machine and you're giving it to a skimmer that's gathering your credit card information. That's becoming more prevalent. It's less prevalent. It's harder to do that with your touch, when you do the touch. And as my wife will tell you, and she's listening, maybe she's at home listening, if you use something like Apple Pay, that could be safer too because you never physically pull your card out. But I don't know. I would like to say credit card.
Okay. You go ahead.
Who pays for the fraud? I mean, we had a debit card in our condo association that was scammed. They bought like $6,000 worth of stuff from Husqvarna in Sweden, and we got the money back instantly. Who pays for that?
I would think in that case, it was probably the bank, which then gets passed on to you through higher fees, and they maybe lose some profit. I don't know that answer, but I would think that in those cases, because that's not like an FDIC insured thing, so it's probably the bank just eating the cost. So.
Did you say earlier you're going to hand out websites, or is this what you're referring to?
There's some stuff there, and again, I will make the presentation available if you want it. All those websites in the presentation are there. This is an ARP document. I'm not sure if everything I covered is in there. There are a few of them. I think there's the credit freeze stuff is in there. So there's quite a few things. There might not be everything though, but I think there's a bunch. And again, send me an email. I will send you this presentation, and all the links are there.
These 3 credit reporting bureaus, it's always just the name.com, correct? Just
It's whatever's in that sheet. I think those are the names.
It doesn't have the website. It has phone numbers for the 3 bureaus, but it's Equifax.com and Experian.com, right? And TransUnion.com.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And
Now,
then-
I will tell you that the link that I have in here is for the TransUnion. I have a longer link because TransUnion makes you go through a bunch of steps to get to the place where you want. I put the right to the place you want. But those are the websites. Yes, because your web browser is going to default automatically to HTTPS for those. And so so all you have to do is a name.com.
And what do you think about these billfolds that are supposed to shield credit cards?
I've heard they're very effective. And what he's talking about is the wallets, kind of like your aluminum hats to keep the UFOs from reading your brain, but they keep RFI protectors. They keep somebody walking by to scan your credit cards in your wallet and pull the information off. Those wallets, I understand, do the trick. Are they necessary? Is there enough of that? I can't tell you, but they do work.
They have phone cases that do that too.
Yes.
I have had I guess it's a scam or an identity theft attempt that you didn't mention.
Which one's that?
Someone set up a business at the Minnesota State Department
Mhm.
and said that I was the business agent for it.
Yeah.
And so
That's an interesting one.
I don't know.
And what do they want
I don't
out of you?
even know.
What do they want out
I
of
don't
you?
know. I mean, my credit reports were already locked, so they couldn't apply for a credit card. They did try to I have a search going, like a Google search, a Google alert
Huh.
for the name of the company. And they set up an e-commerce site that has that name.
Oh. Maybe they
But
wanted
they
people to
haven't
start
done-
paying them thinking it was your site. Or maybe they wanted to file tax returns against it. That's another common one is people file phony tax returns to collect money. I don't know how this business would get money,
Yeah,
but
I don't either. I can't figure out what they're.
Yeah.
I started getting mail because I was the business agent. Yeah, I started getting mail for Presley Mora LLC. And I still get it.
I don't know what I would like to know what
I-
they were getting out of that, but I can't tell you what.
And the State Department will not do anything about it.
Maybe they wanted to buy things in your name. Money laundering, that
Maybe,
could possibly, or
but I
buy
mean,
things in your name, and then you're on the hook, but they're not. They get the goods.
I don't
don't
know.
know.
I
Good one.
reported it to the St. Paul Police. I called the State Department. They said, well, we just list the things. We can't take it down. I talked to the Assistant Attorney General of Minnesota. He said he couldn't do anything about it. Yeah.
Well, remember what I said earlier? Get yourself a cave. You know?
Anyone else? Questions? Comments?
Different institutions and sites want you to go paperless, to save
Yep.
paper and mailing. Even like I think you can get your Social Security and that wants to
Yes.
do everything paperless. So you don't get a tax. You don't get a tax statement from them. You get an email saying this is your tax statement. Do you recommend that, or do you like getting it?
I recommend every time if you have the ability to create an account with an agency that you do business with, create the account. Create the account. And go
like my
paperless for
Medicare.
any number of different reasons. But
But you go paperless.
yeah.
You can.
Yeah, less stuff being sent that somebody can steal from your inbox or from your mailbox or your trash or your recycle bin. But yes, set up the account. If you haven't set up a Social Security account, which probably everybody has, set it up and use the newfangled ways. If you set one up in the past, they're going to make you go and reset up with the ID.me, or there's a couple others which are multi-factor authentication. Login.gov is another one. But you can do login.gov or ID.me, I think, but they are more secure methods than the old user ID password. Yeah.
So the other day, I got an email from the Home Depot, and being an ardent DIYer, I looked at it, and well, it was supposedly from the Home Depot, and it was about the free DeWalt tool.
Oh yeah, I showed you one of those up there.
Yeah, yeah, but and so it kind of caught my, it was a piece of clickbait, like you say, and it kind of caught my attention, and I looked at it, but then I looked at the website or the email address, and that doesn't look right. So, and then I went as far as checking, if there was some sort of a DeWalt deal for Home Depot, and I didn't find one. And
Well, that's good. You actually went back to the source.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And so I did answer the email and said not a chance. And then I took a copy of the email that I was sent, and I posted it to my news feed on Facebook, and said, "Hey, this is a scam." Is that a good idea?
It's always a good idea to make people aware of the scams. Hopefully you didn't give them the link to click on, but let people know about the scams. Again, this is, what I said earlier, tell people what's going on. If you see a scam, let people know about it. Yeah, that's good. That's good. So you can't click on the link in an image. So that's good. Yeah, and they're everywhere. And you're going to find, like I said, when I started putting this presentation, I had a wealth of things I could find because I'm getting people trying to attack me daily. Sure, if I go back to my email right now and look in my spam box, because a lot of them are getting filtered, it'll be just filled with them. Just filled with them. Anybody else? Oh.
I've got Medicare. I'm over 65, and I get some emails, and I get a lot of Medicare emails that go into my junk folder.
Hold it just a little closer. The mic.
Oh, I get a lot of Medicare related emails that go into my junk folder, and some of these companies and entities, they have these odd email addresses that have a lot of extra words in them.
Yeah, because they're burner email addresses. Because if you block them, it'll come at you from another one next time.
Right,
They're
I'm aware.
Constantly creating burner email addresses.
Right, I'm aware of that part, but how does a guy know, like using Medicare as an example, how do I know what's a legit Medicare email address?
I don't think Medicare is going to send you.
Well, Medicare will send you an email that says you have like a new statement or something. They will send that. But again, what you do then is you go to the Medicare, which is medicare.gov, and you go to that site and you make sure you're not going to the site they want you to go to. You go to the site that you want to go to. Again, the same thing, like if your bank calls you, there's been overdraft. Okay, thanks, I'll call you back. And say, hey, somebody's telling me I have an overdraft, and the chances are they're going to say, no, you don't. Maybe overdraft's not a good example, but something, So anyway.
Would the Medicare.gov, if I go to their website, am I going to find correct email addresses?
What do you mean find correct email addresses?
Well, I'm trying to identify, is this email address legit?
If you go to medicare.gov and there's probably a contact, although it might be just a contact form, you contact them through the webpage rather than email address. So it'll just contact us and you fill out what you want. That's actually much more secure because you don't have to worry about, it being even intercepted along the way. It's going to be all the way through. And again, if you go to the right site, you will notice it is an HTTPS secure site, which means it's encrypted end to end. So it can't be read by anybody. And I can spend a lot of time talking about how all that works, but I won't, you can't read, and nobody can read that information as it's transmitted.
I will just add that any information on our website for Unity Church or in the Shelby calendar that we use, we always use if you see like there's something you can click on our website, we always use HTTPS. We've been trained to do that.
Yes.
So they are all secure websites.
Yes, don't go to any website really anymore that is not a secure website.
I'm just thinking that the two things that I've done that I think have gotten rid of the most of this stuff is, number one, I set up my phone so that if the number is not in my, what do they call it?
Your contact list.
Contacts, then it won't answer. And whoever's calling has to
Yep.
leave a message.
Yep, and that's not a bad thing to do these days.
Right.
My nearly 94-year-old mother-in-law has a special phone that we built. These are the people that are allowed to talk to her, and if it's somebody else, it actually has a flashing red kind of thing, and trained her, don't answer those. And we can actually monitor who's called, and we can say, oh, actually, we want to put that one back in, we want that one in the reach through.
Yeah, and I get a lot of Philippine phone calls.
Well, you're a popular guy in the
Phone
Philippines.
my phone doesn't answer. The second thing is I set up my bank so that every transaction that happens, they email me.
I love that. I get a text message anytime that I buy anything, and it's fast. If I'm at like the Mississippi market and I do a purchase, it goes bing. Yeah, I love that because then I'll know instantly. That's a good one to say. Okay, I can know that is this one of mine or somebody else's. Well, actually, yeah, absolutely. So you can do something about it immediately. Yeah. So again, I have the bank app on mine that tells me that.
Hey, everyone, let's say thanks to Andrew.
Thanks. I'm thankful that you folks are here. I think the more people that learn about this, because again, it is everywhere.
And there's more people online than there were in person. So thanks to everyone who tuned in.
Yes. Oh, and those sheets I passed out, I know that one with all the writing is hard to read, but it's got a lot of good stuff. And if anybody wants it a soft copy, email me and I will send you the JPEG file of that. The file. It's actually a PDF. I'll send you the PDF. So thanks, everyone. And Reverend Oscar, thank you for allowing me to create evil. Reverend Oscar, I actually had so much fun. I said, kept like, no, I don't like that one. Oh, I like this. Oh, this one's pretty good, but it's got a big cross on his. And I finally got one that I liked.